And so the function here is not correct. And can you tell me if I using the floor random time 20 plus 10 here? So what is the range of the number?
It'd be 20 to 29.
No, not 20 to 29.
It'd be 10 to okay, so if it starts at 10,
yes, right,
times 20,
so when we go everything from the 10 to 29 here, right? Because you have the 20 number, so everything from 10 to 29. This one generates a random number from the 10 to 29 here. Okay, you got my point? Okay. So this one's not correct also. Now let's see what you have for this one. You have the number. You have the number here. Number check. You check the number. You check largest number, smallest number. Okay, so if you look on this one, it's an loop. I don't know how to access the loop here. It's not really good at all, right? So I don't know how to access the loop here. It's an loop here. It's not good at all for this one. Because I know it's for this one, you have a lot of things with this one here. If you want to check with if you want to working with the largest here, is set it as the first one, and small it is the first. The set is the first one here, right? So the condition here to access the loop is that when you have the count, you have the count here equal to the length of because it's starting the count, it's starting the count number 1, and it keep going up until you reaching to the length of number. So sorry, you have the length of here. Okay, and you know that the length of function here, it will return you how many elements in the array here. You can use it. You can use the length of here. I'm not sure it's the length of all length here. Why the cow greater than 0 here? I don't know what happened with this one here. Very, very confusing for me. Okay. And here's one more thing here. So he checked, he assigns the largest and smallest as the first number here. So every time he compared, if the largest less than the number here, so what happened? You have to change the new largest to the number. This one is the reverse here, right? So actually you have to put the largest here and smallest here. Sorry, number here. You got my point? Right? Yeah. So every time here you have to change the value of the largest, not to change the value of the number here. The number you keep it the same, you keep it here, but you have to change the value of the largest. The same here. You also have to put the smallest here. And you assign the new smallest to the number here. Okay, so now let's see, what is it? So we have 60, we have 70, we have 50. You put the number 0 here, right? Why you have the 60 here? No, this one here. The largest, smaller. So I think no, this one, not this one. So you see, you have everything from the number 1 If less than, you change it to the new one. If the small it here, greater than, you change it to the new one. All right. Oh, okay, I got it. So why put it here? What is this? A lot of proof. The thing with this one also, you always have to tell the user what is expected to exit the loop here, right? So we have to tell him that enter the number and enter the number 0 to exit the loop here, right? Otherwise, the user have no idea how to exit the loop here. You got my point?
Yeah.
Okay. And for this one, yeah, it's a question from the Dutton White here. If you want to verify if it's a number, right? So you have the first thing you have to write here. You have to put it in the order here. You have to put the is number here. Is number and p number here. And so I don't know why you have the p number equal to 0 and the p number greater than 0 or equal to 0 here. What is it? Actually, it's the same. You can combine them together. It's a p number greater than or equal to 0 here. I don't know what is it. A lot of problem with this one. Now number 2 here. I think the same. What is it? Okay, for this one also, I don't know why you have to assign the small to 500 here. It's totally not necessary here. You can delete it one. And also for this one, you don't have to enter the 2 number here. You just need to enter the first number first, right? So you assign both of them. You assign both of the largest and smallest with this one here. Why you have to do this one here? I don't know. So if you remember the last time I instruct you that if you want to figure out the largest and smallest here, you assign both of the largest and smallest as the first one. Right? So every time you just enter the new number, you compare if the new number greater than largest, you change the largest to the new number, and if the smaller what is smaller less if the smaller less than the number less than the smallest, you change it to the smallest here. Okay? And why you have to enter the 2 number here, and you have to take the action to compare them together, and every time you compare it here. Any question for this one? And for this one, I don't know why you have to put the k equal to 100 here. Right? That means you reject the array here not greater than 100, right? So you suppose that you have the maximum of the 100 element in the array only, right? That's what you mean? I think so. Why you have to put the k1 equal to 100 here?
Yeah, I just put it in there just so it wouldn't go on forever.
Okay, but actually here you already have the whenever you want to exit the loop, you enter the positive number 0 already. So why you have to do this one? It's not necessary here. Okay, so here's the thing. If you have this one here, so we think about, I enter the first number here. I enter the first number 50,000 here, and I put the yes, continue here. I have another employee, you have the 70 here. I put no here, exit here. A lot of problem with this one, right? The first one you see, you have the inconsistent with variable name here, right? So instead of using the count, you have X out here. The first I don't know what happened with you here. So whenever you submit the homework, you suppose that you have to run the program. You suppose that you have to test the program before you submit it to me. But this one, I don't know what happened is this one here. That's why I will tell you that the first thing you have to run it by yourself. The second one is that you have to figure out what is the testing scenario here. So what happens if you enter the number and what is the output, and you have to verify if the output is correct or not. For this one, I believe that the one who submitted to me, he have not run anything with the testing yet. That's why the first thing here, you have to change this one here. You have to change it to the cup here. Okay. Now, what happened here? I changed it to the account. I put the first one here. I put the 50,000. The second one, so I put yes here, continue here. The second one, I put the 70,000 here. Now I put no, I exit it. I have 2-1, right? Okay, so we see for this one, it's good. You have the average here, the 60, and you have no one. You have no one for the you have no one for the in the range of the 5K here. But I don't know, it's a very basic mistake here. Why you have the inconsistent in the variable name here. Okay, so how many employee you have? How many employee? So now what I have run is this one. I have 2 employee. This good one. So I put the number 1 here. I put 50 here, and the second one I put the 70 here. Okay, so here's the not correct one, right? You see, if I have the first one is a 50,000 and second one is a 70,000. So the average here is a 60,000, right? So both of the 50,000 and 70,000 here is not in the range of the 60 here with more than or less than 5,000 here. So everything here is not correct. You see, this one is not correct here. You have actually for this one, if you want to do, you have to do everything with, you have to put it here and here, right? You have to and I put salary here. Greater than or equal average, right? Minus 5. Yeah, I see. So the salary in is only print out when it's within the average of the less than or more than 5,000 here, right? So we have to use the ending logic here. You got my point? You have to use the ending logic here. That's one you don't have to do this one. Okay. So we see now if you enter the 2 customer here, and the first one is 50,000, and the second one is 70,000. You have no one, right? You have you have no one here. You have no one. But now if you enter the 3 and 1, you have the 3 1. So for this one you have the 50,000 here. Have the 54,000 here, and we have the 72,000 here, 73,000 here. Oh, sorry. What's the name? Okay, so we see you have the pre-now, right? You have the pre-now is the 56 here in the range of that. Okay, so the condition here is very important here. You have to make sure that you have to use the ending logic here. The first thing is must be less than the average plus 5, and the second one must be greater than average minus 5 here. You got it?
Yeah.
Okay. What is it? Number 3 here. know what happened with this one. So I have the 50,000 here, 70,000 here. Yeah, this one I think is good. He uses ending logic here. He's ending here. Average here. This one also, right? So you see the salary is minus average is less than 5,000 here. So everything is less than average of the 5,000 we will print now here. So what happened if you have the greater than? You have nothing with greater than here, right? You have nothing greater than here. So what happened here? You have this one here. You have the 60,000. 65,000, 64,000 here, and you have the 66,000 here. What is this? Why I keep doing? Stop it. Sorry, I forgot it. So for this one, what's the name? What's the name? I have 50 here. What's the name again? As 60 here. What's your name again? When you're done, you enter the done. Okay. So I have the 70 here. Done. Okay, that's a problem here. Again, I don't know if you run this program or not. You have a problem here. You see, the salary here don't have the 4 element because the thing you have the I here run to the 4. You have the I here to run to the 4, but you have the salary here only for 1, 2, 3 here. And the last one you have done. That's why when I'm working with salary, it go to the number 4. But you have never element of the number 4 in the salary here. Okay, you got it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem. You have to figure out how to correct it here. What do you think? How we correct it? So I think it might you might change it here. You change it here and change it to 0 here. Let's see. Where salary don't have 3 element. Oh, this one also. You have this one also. Actually, for this one, you have a lot of problem with it's also one. So I think here it should be equal to here, not greater than. So this one, you have the 50,000. This one, you have 70,000. And put down here. Okay, so this one work with this one, but you see this one is not correct. So you have to actually for this one also you have to verify. You have to use the end here. Or you can use this one. You can use this one here. You can use absolute value here. Actually, for this one, you have to enter the file only, not 5,000 here, because you see, okay, you tell him, right? You tell him that enter the 40,000 at the 40. So when you compare here, you just compare to the 5, not the 5,000 here. You got my point? So if he enters the 50,000, you asking him that enter the 50 only. So if you want everything within the 5,000, you have to change it to number 5 here. You got it?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And the absolute here, that means you actually for this one is convert is the same thing here, right? You have the and you have the average here minus salary here. Less than or equal to 5. Okay, it's quite the same. So we have to make sure that it's within the range here only, right? Actually, it's too many problems with you guys. So for this one, I don't know here. You know that the name and the salary. What do you think? They are the parallel, right? Huh? You know that they are parallel. So you have one name, you have one salary. You have two names, you have two salary here. So for this one, you need to use only one index only. Why you need to use the two index here? Inner account and outer account. I know that the outer account here, you want to enter the name, right? And the inner account here, you enter the salary. But you have to think about they are the parallel right here. So when they are parallel, right, you only need to use one index because they are matching together. They are related together here. Right? So why you have to use the two? So actually for this one, you just need to use one of them. You have the name here. And for this one, you see, you just do everything with the average here, but you don't print out anything within the range from the 5,000 within the average here. You got my point? So for this one, let's see, input the name here, input the salary, they have 50,000 here. Now put the name here, 70,000 here. Okay, now I put the exit here. Okay, actually for this one, you have a lot of problem with this one. You put the name here and your salary here, you see, you have only two salary here, 50 and the 70, but the average here is a 40. It's not good because you divide by the number 3 instead of number 2 here, right? So actually the average here is a 60, not the 40 here. Right? And also for this problem, you don't print out anything with the, you don't print out any employee within the range of the 5,000 of the average here. Okay, you got it for this one?
And got it.
Mm-hmm.
Now I go to the number 3. Okay, so for this one, you know, this one is not working. All right, so you have to verify if it's a grade .txt here. And of course, if you're working this one, you must have the grade .txt file on the same directory of your router here, right? So now let me run this one. Okay, so if you look on onto the grid here, you have this one here, right? Let me, sorry. Okay, so we see if you have this one, you have average of the 78 point something here. But for the program here, the average here is not correct, right? Because the thing here, what do you know? What do you think? Why is it not correct? What do you think? Any idea for that?
Because it looped an extra time, so it added 1.
Yes,
Needs to be
because instead of divide by 8, right? I think it's 8. Yeah, instead of divide by 8, you divide by 9 here. You have index here. You have index here 9. You got it?
Yes, it needs to be average is equal to sum divided by index minus 1.
Yes. You have to change the minus 1 here.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing. Or you can change it index number 0 here. Whatever. Starting from the index number 0 here. So if the number 0, it works exactly. Yeah, you see, it's correct here, right? So that's why I always asking you that you have to test the program and you have to see what is the output and you have to verify the output is what you expected here before you submit it to me. Okay, this one is not good program here. All right. So you think that this is very simple here. This is a very simple program. But what happens if you have the 1,000 or you have 100 here number in the file? You cannot do it manually for this one here, right? You cannot do it for 100 times or 1,000 times with this one here. So instead of this one, you have to working with the loop here. You have to do work with the loop. And one more thing about this one, when working with the file here, remember, when working the file, so when you're done with this one, you have to remember that you have to put the note here to close the file here. Everyone here have to remember this step here. Okay, so for this one, you have to working with the loop. You have to working the loop here, and you can working with the loop. The way is it? You have the end of input here, right? End of input here. That means it read everything from the beginning to the end. You don't have to know how many elements in the file. You don't care about that. It keep doing it until the end of the file here, right? The end of the file. So you have the integrate here. Is that integrate here, right? You have the integrator. Okay. And everything here, you working the sum, right? You working the sum here. So that's why you have to have the count here, right? The first sum is the sum here. You put number 0 here, right? So every time you read the new number, you add it to the sum, right? You add it to the sum here. And the new sum is equal to the old sum plus the number here, great here, right? And of course, you have to maintain the counter to figure out what's the average here, right? Count. I put it the number 0 here. So every time its count increase by 1, right? And the last one is that print now what is average here. Sorry, count here, right? My mistake. Okay, so we see it's way better, right? So this one is very simple. That you know that for sure you have only the 8 element, but you think that you have a 1,000 here. You cannot do it manually, step by step with that, right? You erase this one. Okay, so here is you make the same mistake here, right? So you have actually for this one you make the mistake here. You read everything read everything from, you add them up everything from the number 1 to number 7 only, but not the number 8. You see, you add them up everything from this one here. All right? You see, you have the sum. You have the sum of the 535 here. Right? You have the sum of 535. It's not correct. The reason that it's not correct because you only read everything to the 50 here. You not read go to the 90 here, right? So instead of that, you have to change this one here. I think, what is it? You have it's one here, you have max here, you have this one here. All right. So now you have to change it here. You have to change, instead of the equal here, you have to change it to the greater than. All right? Greater than here. So now run it again. Okay, so see, now correct here, right? So that's why, again, I always have to request you that you have to verify the program. You have to make sure that the output is what you expected here, right? And for this one also, you store it into the 8 here is a get array count. Okay, so here you can make it way better. You don't know, you don't have, assume that you don't know how many elements here, right? So you put it here and so input here. Okay. And every time you store it into the array here, you store every time you store it in the array, you don't have to know how many count here, right? So see, instead of that, you can use the length function here. So we can use the length function, length, and you put the name of the array here. What is the name of the array? You have array here, right? The array name is array here. Okay, so the length function here will return you how many elements in the array. You don't care if it's 100 or 1000. So you don't have to maintain the, you don't have to maintain the count here. You don't need anything with this one here. Okay, now we run it here. Where's the count? Oh, sorry. You don't have to. Actually, yeah, sorry. You have to maintain the count here. Yes, you have to maintain the count here. Yes, sorry. Yeah, because you need it for the index here, but you can use a length function here instead of how many one, right? Why have the average here is not correct? What's the length of? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, the sum here. Oh, actually, I think you have to put it here. Yes, it's now correct now, right? You have to put it inside this one. You got it?
Yeah.
Okay. So try to use you have to try to use the sum of things, the end of input, length of function. So in that case, you don't have to care how many elements in the file, how many elements in the array here. I think this one, yeah, also, right? You have to print out the 8 because you know for sure you have the 8 element here, but somehow if you don't know how many element in the file, you have to maintain the counter here. You have to maintain the counter. Okay, so in the case that you have to maintain the counter, you must have the counter inside here, starting from 0 and everything time you increase by the counter here and you divide by the number of the counter here. For this one, quite simple. You know that you have 8 elements. That's why you divide by 8. But in the real life, if you have a very large file with a lot of elements in that, you have no way to know how many. Right? So instead of that, you just divide by the counter here. And remember, so every time you have to close the file by the redirect input and we put the no here. Okay, this one also, right? This one here, you do it manually every time here. It's not good at all. It's not good at all. So instead of that, you have to do everything here, delete it here. So hit it here. So we have to maintain the count, and every time you have the count here. And count increase by 1. Okay, so we have the count here. You store integrate here, so we can use the function here. If the count greater than length of function here, right? You have the length of, and you have the name of the array here is array. So we don't have to worry about what is how many it is, right? Okay, so see everything working smoothly now, right? What is some? I don't know why it make it so complicated here. So why you have to break it down for this one here? Why you just instead of adding to the sum here, sum 0, so every time you enter the equate, you just add the sum to the sum here. Don't make it too complicated. Right? It's very simple program, so don't make it too complicated here. So try to make it here. So every time you have the new number, you add the sum, the new sum equal the old sum plus the new number here. Right? You have the number here. You have the grade count here. Also, I don't know why you have to maintain so many things here. Right? So for this one, you can use here. You can use a length function here, and you put it the name of the array, name of array here, great. Okay. Why you need to count 2 here? I don't know. What is it? Oh, sorry, you had to put this one before. You had to put this one before. Okay, everything working smoothly, right? See? Don't make it too complicated. Delete this one. Don't make it complicated here. So I have to put the name here. Why this one is not? Why? I don't have the file name. I can modify it here. Okay, this one also, right? You see, you only sum everything from the from the 55 to the 50, 75 to the 50, but not include the 90 here. Right? So I think you can better that you use this one here. You have the end of the input here. You don't have to worry how many elements in the file you have. Right. So and you divide. You have divide by length of function here. That is very exactly here. And you have great. Okay, so now it's correct now, right? So that's all for the homework correction. If you have any question, let me know. Any question?
My question is more towards so getting an array to come in and getting it to validate, like more for the final project. I'm having problems figuring that out.
What is it?
Like so we can redirect the files in and they can read them, but then getting it to where it can read to validate the username and password. Like I don't know, I've tried a lot of different ways, and so far I'm just not able to get it to verify, to match, to get something to match, to validate the username and then go to the password.
Can you share the screen?
Sure. So
What is the validation? Can you go to the validation?
so validation's up here.
Can you click on this task? No, click onto the module.
Yeah, there we go. So
What is it?
some of this is older. I need to take it out. I think I was trying on a different page. Where were we? I've tried it in different windows.
No, we cannot do that. You cannot do that.
Flag. Checking. Yeah, I think I did this one. Validation. Yeah, here we go. So we go to the main. It goes to, I got database. It pulls in the database. Then it pulls.
Now, can you show me what is the correct one? You cannot do this one with the validation here.
I can't do it with the validation.
No, the validation of the coding with the validation here is not correct.
Well, yeah, I know that. I don't know how to get the input to match. Validation. No, this is a different one.
No, you don't have to assign every single one here. You know that the last time I showed you that how you access to the file, you read it out and you store into the parallel right here. So can you show me how you run it, how you access to the file and you store them into the parallel right here? I look on the program here. I don't see any step of that.
Okay, so this is the database. So when I run it, I'll go to the database first. It'll pull everything from the file. And I have the password indexed on all the passwords.
We're still.
I don't see anything here. Can you run it now?
Huh?
Can you have it run now?
Yeah, it's running right now. You don't see it?
We only see the first project that you pulled up.
Oh, okay. Checking. So do you see my screen now?
I only see the program, but I don't see anything running or anything.
Oh, you don't see to the left the checking?
No.
might have to. Your screen sharing is paused. Resume share. There we go. It's only letting me go back
I don't know. I don't know what is our programming, but when you don't have to manually assign every element in the array here. You just automatically write it, access the file, and read it and store it into the parallel arrays here. I see in the program you just manually do it here. You just assign everything with manually here. So if you look on the program, you see I do it automatically, right? I access to the file, and every time we store it into the parallel array here. You don't have to do anything. It assign what is a Robert Brown, what is how many saving account he have, how many checking account we did. Actually, all of them they just got it from the text file here. And if you look on the text file, you see I have everything here. I have the Robert Brown, his username, password, saving account, checking account, and now move to the next one, move to the next one, and move to the next one here.
Yeah, I got that far. I wasn't able to show that part of the screen.
But I don't see anything with your program here. That's why I asked the question.
Wait, should I share screen again? Because
Yeah,
I got hold up now. So I got all that right here. Can you see it now?
Okay, so what is the main program here? Main program, you read it, you store it, right? Come back to the main program. You have database. What is database?
Well, that I call it database. That's where we pull everything.
You store everything. Okay, so now come back to the main. What is the validation?
Validation. That's where I spent a couple. Well, yeah, I know none of this works because yeah, I can't get I don't get how to validate or match something from the database. Like, do I have to put a certain index in there? Username index 1.
No. The question here, so how can you validate that? How can you validate? How can you validate it?
Maybe by the length. I tried length.
No. If you want to validate, the first thing you have to ask the user, please enter the username, please enter the password, right?
Yeah.
So every time he enters the name and the password, you have to compare if the username here is matching any element in the username array, and the password matching to every element in the array, the password here. So in order to do that, you have to maintain the loop. You run everything from the first element to the end element in the username and the password. So every time you have to check if it's matching to the first element, or it's matching to the second, on the fourth, or the third, or the fourth. Right? You have to keep matching everything here.
Okay. So in the condition, I would say the username.
Okay, so let me show you how to work with this one here, right? You look on my program here. Okay, so now see, you have, for this step, you will store everything in the parallel array, right? You store everything in the parallel array. Now, you have to add the user here. What is the username and what's the password? So what happened here? So whenever he enters the username and password, right? You have it run to everything from the beginning to the end. That's why I use the length function here. You got my point? You have the length function, and the I here starting from 1. That means it's starting from the first element into the username array, and the first element in the password array here. You see, I here starting from 1. is starting from the first element in the username array and starting from the first element in the password array here. So every time you have to verify if the enter username here matching with the first element or the second or the third, keep moving on, keep doing it until the end of this one. So when you compare, you have the two possibility here. So the first time, if you have everything is matching, it's my matching with the first element or the second or the third, I don't know. If it's matching, I put the flag here as the true. And at the beginning, I have to set the flag here as a number 4. So whenever it's matching, I set the true, but not matching, I said keep it to the next element here. Keep it to the next element. So now I come it back, do it everything from the beginning to the end. So if it's going to the end, I have the one attempt already, right? That's why I increase the one more attempt here and do it here. And you see the outer loop here is every time when I have run out of the 3 attempt, I have the 3 attempt here. That is the first condition to exit the loop, right? So we have the run out of 3 attempt, or whenever I have the matching here. That's why I have the flag which is true here. In that case, I have the matching here, right? You see, it's matching. Exit it here. Exit it here. Exit it. Exit it. Right? So when you have matching, you see, you may store in the index number here. So it matching with the index number 2. You know that you are working with the username number 2 and the password number 2 here. And from that, you are able to access to the what is the saving account of the number 2 and the checking account of the number 2 here. Now, you see how we run it here. Let me run it you. Sorry, let me run it you step by step so you have more idea how it works here. Okay, so now you see I finished everything. Right? I have the username, I have customer here, I have the checking here, I have the password here, I have saving here, I have username. All of them, they are stored in the parallel array, right? And element number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4 here. So now the next one, this one, everything here is a validation here. See, everything from this one here until this one, they are validation here. Right? So for in the case of validation, suppose I set the flag here as a 4 because I have not filed yet. So I put it as a 4 and I have 3 attempt here. So I set the attempt here number 3, right? So the condition here to exit the loop is that when you run out of the attempt or whenever you find out it's true here, right? That means you have the matching here. Right? So it keeps going on. So every time you starting from the first element, you run it everything until the end of the last element here. That's why I have I greater than length up here. Length up here is determine how many elements you need. Right? So every time you enter the username and password here, for the first attempt, you enter the username and password and you compare this here, right? So it's username matching with the username and password matching with the password. You change the flag to true. Flag to true, that means you find matching here. If not, keep going to the next one. Right? Keep going to the next one here. So now we see how it works here. I have attempt number 3 here, right? And I have flag 0 here, that means 4 here. You see how it works here. Now enter the username. I enter the username something here. Enter the password here, something here. So how it works here? You see, it run everything from the 1 to 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. I have no matching. I have no matching. That's why I finished 1 attempt. Now I finished 1 attempt here. I move to the second attempt. You see, I only have the 2 attempts remaining. So I keep doing it here. It's not matching, right? It's not matching here. So again, it keep doing everything from 1 here. You see where the I now 2. Now I 3 here. Element 3. Now element 4. No matching. No matching. So you see the flag here, still the 4, right? You have no matching here. And I go to the last one. Right? So the last one here, I see if I enter the username, what is the username here? M black here. M black, yes. I enter the M black here. M black here. And the password of M black is green 7, 8, 9. Sorry, green here. So what happened? You see, starting from I here, right? So I, it compare my username with Brown is not correct, right? And the password blue123 is not correct. So the first one is not correct. Now I move to the second one. You see, now the I here is the second one. The second one, my username is white, and the password here is red 456. Not matching yet, right? Not matching yet. That's why it increases I here to number 3. Now I go with number 3. Number 3, I have the black here username, and the password here green 789 is correct, right? You see, it matching. It go with flag true, right? You set the flag true here. So when you go with flag true, come back again. You set here. I got a flag true. I just exit it here. I just exit it here. I have flag true. I exit it here. I true exit it here. So you can move on with the customer number I here. And for this one, I already have the number I3 here. So I working with the number I3. I have checking 200 here, and I have the saving 550 here. Now you see matching. Go, exit, 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 exit. Move on. Move on here. So when you have move on, that means you have I number 3 here. I number 3. So we just pull now. What is the saving of the I number 3 of the element 3? What do you think? Yeah, saving here, right?
500.
And the checking here. That's all. You got it?
Yeah, I don't know why it's so complicated, like when you go to do it, but
Okay. So you have to think about what is the condition. What is the condition to exit the loop? The first thing that you have the 3 attempts, right? So whenever you have the 2 ways to exit the loop here. The first thing, when you run out the attempt, right? When you run out the attempt, the second one, when you find out the matching here. That's why if you look on the program here, you see you have 2 conditions to exit the loop. The first one when you run out the attempt, the second one when you find out the matching here. That's why. And for every attempt, you see you have to compare every element from the element number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4, and keep going on here. That's why you see you have I here, the first element, until the length up is the last element here. So whenever you compare matching, you set it to true. If not matching, move to the next element here. That's all. Any question for this one?
No, it makes a lot more sense now.
So I said it to you that it's up to you. This one actually if you're working with the the 4 element here is very simple, right? Sorry, the 4 customer here is very simple. But think about if you're working with the 100 to 1000 here, you have to working with the array and database here. Okay, so you can have another way to do that. If you think that one is too complicated here, you have another way to do that. You think about that. You asking username and password, right? So you compare here. The first one is matching with the first one is matching with Brown. What is it? Yeah, the first one is compare the matching with Brown or not. You compare the second one, you compare the third one, and you compare the fourth one. That's all. But this only working is a 4 customer array. But you think about you have a lot of customer, you have 100 or 1000, you cannot do this one here. You got my point? You can use the netted selection here. You check, enter the username and password, and compare its username matching with Brown and password matching with red 123. Do it for the first customer. Not moving to the next one. It's matching with white and the password is blue 456. Go with the customer number 2. And the third one it's matching with black and red 789. Working with the third customer and the last one here. Okay. If we find that working with the loop here too complicated, you can do with the method selection here. It's up to you. Any question? Any other question? Let me know. Hello.
No. So I guess beyond that, so it'll just store that index or that I number, and then
Yeah.
that.
So when you find the matching, you already have I here as index, right? So it's
Yeah.
up to you. So if you enter the customer number 2, so we have I number 2. If you enter the information for the customer number 3, you have I number 3. So based on the number of I, you can take out what is his saving account and what is checking account here.
Okay.
Okay. So any other question from you guys?
Not at the moment, but seeing that it's finals week, is there a time that we can reach out to you if something's not clicking again this week, that you're not busy?
No, it's already the final week. So you have everything from now to the weekend to ask me any question.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm here on the online here. So if you have any question, you can send me the email. And we have the final project and final exam also. So if you have any question for the final exam, you just let me know.
How many questions is it?
Sorry.
How many questions
What do you mean? How many questions?
on the final exam?
Have a look into that. So you have 1, you have 2, you have 3, you have 4, you have 5, and you have 6. That's the final exam here.
Oh, so we're going to be building programs, kind of?
So if you have any question, you at least you have to spend your time to look into what is the question here. You have to make sure that you read it and you understand what you want to ask me here.
Okay.
So we have this one is a program. Sorry, this one is a software development lifecycle. That means you have to break it down into the 4 steps. You have the analysis, you have design, you have the coding, and you have testing here. The second one is the program. It's a sum of the square here. You have to find the sum of square integer from 1 to the my square, where my square is input by the user. So think about this one is same here, right? So we have asking the user enter the number. So if you enter the number 5, sorry, I have to put it in the middle. All right. So if he what? This one you break it down into the analysis here, right? Design here, coding, and testing here. Remember, you were working at some time with in the homework already, so we just follow the step to do that. The second one is sum square. You enter, say you think about he enters the number of my square here. So if he enters the number 5, you have to figure out what is the sum of square of every integer from the 1 to 5 here. So we must be 1 square, right? 1 plus 2 square plus 3 square plus 4 square and plus 5 square. and you have to print out what's the sum of that. Of course, you have to use a defensive technique here to make sure that he enter it's integer number, he enters the positive integer number here. You have to use it. This one is working with the unified modeling language. You have to draw here. You have to draw something with the he have something with the employee payroll system here, right? So we have to allow the employee to log in the number of working hour, the pay rate, and then generate the pay here. So basically, we're working with the user diagram, right? So we have one end is have employee here, and the other one you have the employer here. So we have something working with the connection with the. And the third one, you have the question class grades here. So you're working the list of the student name, array student here, and student name array student here, and testing score in the parallel array here. So each student have the 3 testing score stored into the parallel array here, 1, 2, and 3 here. So every time you enter the student, every time you enter student here, you have you have to figure out if he's got the A or B or C or D here. Okay. So we think about here. So think about this one here. Right? You have the 3 student here. A, B, C. It is student here. That is the name here. Right? Student here. Right? Student here. Now you have the score 1. Right? They can be the 50, 70, or 80. For each student, you have score number 2 can be something, and score number 3 can be something, right? So after that, you have to store them into the parallel array. So for every student, you have to sum it up together. What is the score number 1, score number 2, score number 3, and you add them up together and you divide by 3. You got the average, and after that, you have to sort it here. If everything in the range from the less than 60, you got the F grade, and from the 60 to 70, you have the D, and 60 to the 80, you have C, and so on here. Okay, this one you have to create a wrapper to read the student name and grade from the student file here and store into the parallel array and display the class average here. And you have to download student file in the Canvas here. You see, you can download it here. You can download the student file TT from here. And the last one, you generate the program. You have the user to do it for 1,000 times. For every time you generate the random number from the 1 to 53 here. Sorry, 52 here. Right? Think about the 52 card here. So if every time if you have everything in the range from 1 to 13, you have to increase the club number. Everything from the 14 to the 26, you increase to the diamond number, and so on here. And do it for 1,000 times. Okay, any question for this one? Let me know. So you have everything from now until the Thursday. So if you have any question, you can raise it to me for today or on Thursday.
Okay.
Any question now?
No.
Okay, so if you have a question, I can end the class now. But remember that anytime if you want my help, just send me the email. So I'm working until 1 p.m. If you need my help, just let me know.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.